Now I would like to request President of Reporters Club Nepal, Rishi Damala, to come on stage and welcome her. Please.
Thank you very much.
Peace process मा UNMIN को अथवा संयुक्त राष्ट्रको महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका कस्तो थियो नेपालको छ तर आज UNMIN अब बन्द जाँदै हुनुहुन्छ साच्चै अब UNMIN ले नेपालको शान्ति प्रक्रियाको बारेमा कसरी हेर्यो उहाँको कार्यकाल कस्तो रह्यो सुखद रह्यो अथवा उपलब्धिमूलक रह्यो के भन्नुहुन्छ स्वयंमा त्यसैले आज म लामो कुरा बोल्न चाहन्न नेपाली जनताले अथवा राजनीतिक दलले सरकारले नेपालको शान्ति प्रक्रिया निष्कर्षमा पुर्याउनको लागि राष्ट्रसङ्घीय राजनीति मिसन UNMIN को आवश्यकता भने अझै कता कता देखेको जस्तो मैले महसुस गरेको छु कता कता आवश्यकता महसुस गरेको मैले देखेको छु तर म्याडम स्वयं के भन्नुहुन्छ
Thank you very much, Rishi, for inviting me here and for your extremely kind words about me. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I last had the pleasure of being here with Mr. Ian Martin in early 2009, and since then, Rishi has continued to invite me here so persistently that I felt I could not leave Nepal without coming to Reporters Club once. So thank you for the opportunity. Tomorrow I travel to New York, where I'll present the Secretary General's report on Nepal to the Security Council for the last time on January 5th. The report has been released as UNMIN prepares to withdraw from Nepal with the termination of its mandate on January 15th. For that reason, I would like to highlight that in this report, the Secretary General recognizes the contributions that UNMIN and the UN family have made to the Nepali-owned peace process. Among the contributions is the assistance that the UN provided to the national authorities in the conduct of the Constituent Assembly election, and support to the parties in negotiating and implementing the arms monitoring agreement that has served as the basis for monitoring of the two armies and their arms, and has provided a mechanism for dispute resolution and confidence building very successfully. The Secretary General also highlights something that all of us in this room know very well. Nepal's journey to sustainable peace has been a success story, but it is unfinished. In particular, the Secretary General urges the political parties to end the prolonged political deadlock that has hampered progress in the peace process. Among the major challenges, of course, are the promulgation of the new constitution by the 28th of May 2011, and the integration into the security forces or the rehabilitation of the Maoist army personnel. It's worth recalling that the parties have made major compromises in order to negotiate significant agreements in the past. The Secretary General urges them to do so again very soon and not put at risk the fruits of their hard labor in the peace process so far. It is indeed time for the parties to take rapid steps to secure the integration and rehabilitation of Maoist army personnel in a mutually acceptable manner. As the report states, the United Nations would have liked to see this prior to the departure of UNMIN in order to avoid any vacuum in respect of monitoring arrangements. UNMIN's departure now makes it very urgent for the parties to have agreed follow-on arrangements for the monitoring of arms and armies. Even at this late date, 2 weeks before UNMIN winds up its work, I continue to seek clarity about the status of the agreement on monitoring of the management of arms and armies and the specific functions within it, including that of the Joint Monitoring Coordination Committee. There should be no ambiguity surrounding these issues when UNMIN leaves, and I hope this will be addressed very soon. Of course, the United Nations will continue its long-standing support to the search for sustainable peace in Nepal after UNMIN's departure. As the Secretary General states in the report, the United Nations entities in Nepal will assist in the rehabilitation of Maoist army personnel when the time comes, as well as continuing to lend support to the constitution drafting process and many other elements of peace building. Thank you very much. And before I take your questions, let me take this opportunity to wish you and your families a healthy and happy New Year. Thank you.
Yesterday you received a letter from Maoist Chairman Kamal Dahal requesting to stay here up to May. What is the position of that letter? I mean, will you present that letter to the UN Security Council? And what would happen then? Because it's a unilateral request, so far as I know.
A meeting on Nepal's peace process next week.
Will Security Council think about extending the mandate on the basis of this letter?
How the Security Council will react to that letter is a question I don't have the answer to. We know that last September, when the Council received a letter from the government that did not have the agreement of the Maoists, they found that very difficult to deal with. In UNMIN's work here under our mandate. As you know, we were asked to support the conduct of elections in a free and fair atmosphere. That was done. We were asked to support the monitoring of the arms and armies, and that was also done. I think by international standards, Nepal's peace process has been an extremely significant success so far. Ultimately, how UNMIN is adjudged, is assessed, will probably depend on whether the peace process is ultimately a success or not. But I can safely say that the things we were asked to do by the government and the parties, the things we were mandated to do, we have carried out to the best of our ability. Both the election and the monitoring regime have been extremely successful. You know, I think if you read the Secretary General's report, you will also see both this time and in the last report the expression of frustration that there have been multiple extensions of this mandate without the promised political progress taking place with every 4-month or 6-month extension. That has been missing. And the Secretary General also comments that it is unsatisfactory simply to continue extending UNMIN with its very limited mandate in the absence of the political progress that is in the hands of the leadership of the political parties. Now, all the political parties are telling us, are agreeing with us, that this is an extremely critical moment in Nepal's peace process. We see a lot of discussions going on among the parties, and I think we are very hopeful that the end of the peace process is in sight. We have every confidence that the political party leaders will, in the coming weeks, reach agreement on the several outstanding issues. And that will then open the door to the completion of the integration and rehabilitation process, the constitution drafting, and allow the country to move on to the fresh elections. Away from this process, and I guarantee that every morning in Burundi, the first thing I do will be to check the online papers in Nepal to find out what's going on in the peace process. As everyone associated with UNMIN has experienced, we take Nepal away with us, and this peace process will continue to be very much in our hearts. We are all going to celebrate, no matter where we are, when this peace process comes to its successful end.
Thank you, Madam.